All right, let's dive right into this explainer of global high school classrooms by Lindsay M. Thompson. Education really isn't just a local issue anymore. It's a massive, worldwide web of interconnected classrooms, and understanding exactly how they differ and honestly, how they are the same, is absolutely crucial for our collective future.
So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the global education landscape, bridging the digital divide, rethinking standardized testing, alternative pathways to success, and finally, shaping the educational future.
Okay, Part 1, the global education landscape and visualizing interconnection.
Because, let's face it, education completely transcends borders now. The skills a student picks up in one nation today, they're going to directly impact the globalized workforce tomorrow. We're living in an era of just unprecedented connectivity. And that means if one region is lagging behind in 21st century skills, we all feel the ripple effects in our shared global economy.
But even with that connection, regional disparities show us some pretty stark contrasts. Think about the intense pressure cooker academic competition of China's annual Gaokao exam, and compare that to the US system with its heavy focus on extracurriculars and flexible credits. The Gaokao is this massive, high-stakes gatekeeper for university admission. Meanwhile, the American high school experience is built around continuous assessment and AP courses. We are talking about the exact same age group, but they are living in completely different educational worlds.
Moving right along to Part 2, Bridging the Digital Divide, Technology's Promise and Peril. Now, the really crucial thing to understand here is that this divide, it is not just about a student lacking a laptop. It's actually a compounding crisis. We're looking at intersecting issues with hardware access, internet connectivity, digital literacy, and software resources. And all of this just strongly reinforces existing socioeconomic disparities globally. Because even if you physically hand a student a device, without high-speed internet or the actual digital literacy to use educational software effectively, that technology suddenly becomes a barrier instead of a bridge.
So how do we fix this? Well, to bridge these gaps equitably, governments are rolling out some heavily targeted initiatives. Step 1 is basic infrastructure development, like expanding high-speed rural internet. Step 2 focuses on one-to-one device programs so every student actually has hardware in hand. And Step 3 relies on public-private partnerships, basically bringing in funding and expertise from the private sector to make these massive rollouts viable and sustainable in the long run.
Which brings us to Part 3, Rethinking Standardized Testing and Measuring Success. We look at international assessments like PISA, which focuses heavily on practical, real-world application, and TIMSS, which leans into math and science. These benchmarks map out the educational landscape across over 80 countries. And this really matters, right? Because it shows us who is genuinely prepared for the real world. Instead of just asking students to regurgitate memorized facts, frameworks like PISA challenge 15-year-olds to actually use reading, math, and science literacy to solve the kinds of complex, practical problems they're going to face in adulthood. And because of this, we're witnessing a brilliant shift happening worldwide. We're moving away from the rigid limitations of uniform, high-stakes standardized testing and moving toward personalized, competency-based alternative assessments. Think digital portfolios and holistic evaluations. Instead of a single make-or-break exam dictating a student's entire future, we are seeing a rise in models where students progress only after they've genuinely mastered a specific skill. If you find this analysis valuable, please like and subscribe to Knowledge Lighthouse to help us bring more truths to light. Let's dive into Part 4, Alternative Pathways to Success, Beyond the Traditional University. Vocational Education and Training, or VET, stands out as a critical alternative here. It's all about practical skill development, industry-relevant curriculum, structured apprenticeships, and direct labor market alignment. For students who want immediate entry into fields like healthcare, IT, or construction, VET offers a direct route right into the workforce, completely bypassing the massive time and financial debt usually tied to traditional higher education. Take Germany's highly successful dual education system, for example. It perfectly proves that VET can foster a highly skilled workforce while drastically lowering youth unemployment rates. They've built a model that seamlessly combines classroom theory with real-world, on-the-job apprenticeship. These students are literally earning while they learn. It's an incredibly effective setup, and it's no surprise that so many other nations are actively trying to replicate it to close their own industrial skill gaps. And finally, Part 5, Shaping the Educational Future, Innovations and Trends.
Looking ahead at emerging innovations, we're seeing everything from adaptive learning platforms and AI in admissions to the democratization of knowledge through open educational resources like MIT's OpenCourseWare and immersive project-based learning. Technology is making education vastly more accessible and tailored. We are rapidly moving toward a reality where adaptive platforms tweak the difficulty of content in real time based on how a student is progressing, and where top-tier learning materials are freely available to absolutely anyone with an internet connection.
But it is vital to remember the future isn't just silicon and screens. Frameworks that prioritize social and emotional learning, or SEL, recognize that cultivating emotional intelligence, resilience, and interpersonal skills is just as critical for holistic student development as traditional academics. As AI and automation continue to rapidly reshape the workforce, those uniquely human skills like empathy, communication, and adaptability are going to be the ultimate differentiators for our students.
So the ultimate takeaway here is that we have a shared global responsibility. Step 1. We must ensure equity and access, so geography doesn't determine destiny. Step 2. Foster cultural integration, helping students become true global citizens. And Step 3. Harness collaborative innovation across borders. We need to build an inclusive landscape that bridges resource gaps and actually empowers students everywhere to realize their full potential.
As classrooms evolve globally, we really have to ask ourselves, are we preparing students for the world of yesterday or the challenges of tomorrow? Now, there's a tremendous, tangible value in having these insights sitting right on your bookshelf. For the complete deep dive, own the paperback. Get your high-quality paperback edition on Amazon via the link in the description. Add it to your collection today. Please share this video and check the description for more.